In this game, you gotta protect yourself. Hi, I'm James, and this is my take on reality. In this episode, we're going to be talking about Natalie and Veronica and their poor decisions with regard to their sexual experience on 90 Day Fiance Single Life. Now, before we get started, I would ask that if you're not subscribed to the channel, that you consider subscribing. It really helps the channel out. It helps me out. And this is your opportunity to help a brother out. Give me that HBO special. All right, let's get it. Before we get started, the first thing I said was you have to protect yourself in this game. Any contact sport, whether it's football, karate, hell, even golf or baseball, you have to protect yourself and make sure that you are ensuring your own safety. Same. When you're involved in the dating world or the sexual marketplace, you are responsible for your own protection. You have to look out for your own best interest and make sure that you're keeping yourself safe. Now, when I say that you have to protect yourself, I'm not saying that you're going to be 100% risk-free. What I am saying is that you're trying to mitigate the risks. You're trying to lower the risks to where they become acceptable for you to be able to engage and take that chance. And then hopefully you're able to decide and to make good decisions to avoid any possibility that you put yourself in danger. For those that are unaware, the whole genesis of me starting to watch reality shows and even, start this channel was an opportunity that I had with my daughter. We would sit down and she would be watching reality shows, and I came in, I would make little commentary on what I saw as far as relationships, friendships, people's personalities, different people's perspectives, and things that I noticed and things that I know just from living life. And I thought it was an opportunity for me to be able to share with her what I saw and my life experience in a safe environment. So when push comes down to shove, episodes like the ones we just watched with Single Life is exactly why I decided to talk to my daughter about this kind of stuff. Because you can see from a lot of the responses and the sheer obliviousness of the decisions that both Natalie, Veronica, and hell, some of the other people, Tanya, and Tiffany and different, characters who are on this show, the way that they move in this sexual marketplace is extremely dangerous. There was a stuntman when I was growing up. He wasn't really a stuntman. He was more of a daredevil, a guy named Evel Knievel. And the way Evel Knievel used to do these big fanciful jumps, he used to jump on a motorcycle and he would throw his bike down a ramp and then go over like school buses or over like huge water fountains, great distances on his motorcycle. And the way he used to do it is he would stand at the top of the ramp, he would look down the ramp and make a little thumb thing, look at it, and then he would just throw his motorcycle down as fast as he could down the ramp and hope for the best. And that's how a lot of these people are moving in the sexual marketplace, and it's extremely dangerous. And they're basically like daredevils of sex. And it's insane that they would make these decisions and make these kind of bad choices. My whole belief system is that I am not the arbiter and decider for what my daughter does with her body and her physical being and her sexuality. I know there's like this huge stereotypical thing, especially as a father and as a man. If anybody come around my daughter, I'm going to kill him and I'm going to do this and that and the other. And I'm going to go down to Home Depot and get a bag of trash bags and lime and shovels and power tools. And I'm going to go to town, baby, medieval, right? And you have that, guys come to the house and anything you do to my daughter, I'm going to do to you and all that stuff. But the reality of it is that the greatest gift I can give my daughter is to teach her that she has autonomy over her body. I don't get to tell her what to do, and these guys damn sure don't get to tell her what to do, because if I'm not going to tell her, then you don't get to tell her. She makes the decision what she does with her body and how she conducts herself. And part of that is that I'm not just arming her with the knowledge that she's free to do whatever she wants to do with her body, but I also want to give her that information so that she can make better decisions as to what to do with her body and whom to do it with and what time that she might want to try to do some stuff. So it's not, you want to try to arm them up so that way they can move into it with information. Let's take a look at what Natalie said with her time that she spent with Josh.
Was it protected sex?
No.
What?
Один из protection issue. Yeah.
Do you think you could be pregnant?
From one night? No. Can I don't think so. No. I'm a grown-up woman. I do what I want, okay?
Good.
Now, off rip, one of the more disturbing things that Natalie said, and trust me, she said a lot of things that were extremely disturbing, but the basis of what she said was, I have no idea how pregnancy and procreation works. That's horrifying. And at the same time, she says, I have no idea how this works. She throws out, yes, but I'm a grown woman. I do what I want to do. What? You have no idea how sex works. Because let me clue you into something. For those that are unaware, I mean, geez, Louise, this should have to go unsaid. Not only can you get pregnant on the first time that you have sex with somebody, but you don't have to enjoy it. That's the cruel part of the whole situation. It could be horrible. And you could be 2 months pregnant already, or 2 weeks pregnant already, walking around with a full baby growing, and you had nothing. Oh, I ain't never calling that lame. Oh, he was terrible. And then that's your baby daddy. The producer asked the question, but she didn't say, oh, you're not worried about STDs, you're not worried about STIs, any of that? You're not worried about any other issues that you might have, HIV? You're not worried about none of that, huh? You just, whatever. And that's one of the crazy things about this whole environment and the way that they're conducting themselves, because it just seems like, oh, as long as we're in love and I say I want to get married, then everything is going to be okay. As long as I say I want to have a baby in the confines of a marriage and relationship, then if I get pregnant, he's going to have to marry me, right? No, I mean, especially when you look at the guy that you're messing with. Josh is a guy who already has 2 children by 2 different women. So the idea that because you get pregnant, you're going to keep that dude, he's already proven that that's not going to work. The second thing, and this is what kind of trips me out. In the last episode, Natalie had said, I don't have sex with people unless I plan on marrying them. It means something to me when I do this. The truth of the matter is, it doesn't matter how much it means to you. Because your feelings and what it means to you doesn't necessarily translate to him in saying that it means as much to him because it means this much to you. The very fact that this guy dates, and you can't tell me that he don't pick up women from his little modeling gigs and from his little modeling events. That's how he gets his ladies. So when he meets these ladies, the fact that he would sleep with you without protection, and both of you are coming to that decision and never thought about whipping out a prophylactic or any kind of contraceptive, lets me know that this is how he rolls. So you have to, when he's willing to do it, you have to take a step back and say, well, if he's willing to do it with me, if they're doing it with you, they're probably doing it with other people the same way. Now, my daughter asked a question that I thought was very interesting. She had asked, well, if Josh realizes that he doesn't want to be with her because she's crazy, why would he take her back to meet his family? I mean, that's pretty serious. That's almost relationship stuff. And what I shared with my daughter was, the reality of it is that there are guys who are a little more strategic with their dating. If he is strategic and he's smart about who he dates and how he dates them and who he recruits into his dating pool, he understands that if a woman shows certain characteristics, that she might be a little easier to manipulate and lie to. Like, for instance, the best lies aren't the best stories or how believable you are, but instead, dishonesty works best when the listener wants to believe the lie. So if you have somebody who is super into you, super involved, when you show up, you haven't seen each other for 2 weeks, and you show up to the airport and they're there crying like crazy. Oh God, I want to be with you. You're so wonderful. I missed you so much. Oh God. You know, and she shows these types of exhibits that she needs him. She has to have him. She wants to be with him. And she's going to do anything to be with him. Oh, she doesn't drink. She hasn't had a drink in 15, 20 years, 10, 15, 20 years. But now she's going to start drinking because he wants her to drink and he suggested it. Oh, she normally doesn't have sex with people unless she's in a serious relationship with him and she's going to marry him. But with him, oh, she's having sex with him. Oh, you don't believe in having unprotected sex with people because you want to protect yourself, especially in a situation where there's no commitment. But then, oh, I get it without the protection. Then that shows him, and what that reinforces to him, if he dates Natalie or if at some point he marries her, that he'll be able to go on and see other people without having to worry about her flipping out on him or her creating problems for him. Now, obviously, this is a short-sighted solution and will completely backfire on you because Natalie isn't crazy about Josh. She's just plain old crazy. Might be the same zoo, but they're two different animals. Now, the next person we're going to talk about is Veronica and her date with her new man. Let's take a look at the clip.
You didn't even kiss me when you got to my house.
I did.
I mean, what's up with that?
Okay. A couple times a year, I get cold sores right here in the lips. And I have one.
Okay.
I would feel horrible
Good.
if I gave you mouth herpes.
Thank you. I don't want it. I'm gonna go put on something fun. I am determined to not let this cold sore be the end of our banging weekend. I don't know how it works.
Now, off rip, I have to give a lot of credit to the gentleman for being honest and forthright and coming out and letting her know that he has herpes. And that in and of itself is a very difficult conversation to have. The bone that I'll pick with him is this. Even though it seems like he gave her a choice, a real choice would have been, hey, we're setting up this getaway weekend where we both know that we're going to be physically intimate. Now, before we even book the hotel, before we rent a car or do what we're going to do as far as transportation, before you go down to the wax place and get your booty waxed, I have something to tell you. And this is what I have to tell you. Bop, 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 bop. From that point, Veronica gets to make the decision before she books the hotel or books her appointment to get the booty wax. She gets to make her decision on whether this is a relationship she wants to continue with. Let's be very clear. This guy was not 100% with her because he did have the second date with her where he kissed her. He did have the first date where he went back to her house. But for the fact that Tim was sitting there. Now, Tim was being a jerk and he went against what I said as far as her being an adult and having autonomy over her own body and deciding who she wants to sleep with. That makes him a jerk. Dude, you don't get to decide for her. She's an adult. She can decide for herself. But with all that being said, she was fully intending to sleep with him that night. And when you have herpes, one of the things that she had talked about was, I don't know how it's passed. I don't know what's going on. I'm not sure what it is. Well, let me tell you something. It drives me crazy that people will pretend like they don't understand stuff when you literally have a supercomputer in your pocket. You have a supercomputer that you carry around with you all the time. So if you have a question, instead of going to the bedroom and saying, I'm going to slip into something more comfortable, what you need to do is go into the bedroom and slip into your phone and figure out what's going on and ask the phone what your questions are. Ask Google. You know, what is the transmission rate of herpes? How does it work? What, can you catch it this way? Can you catch it that way? Ask the phone. Even though he's a nice guy and he told you, maybe he doesn't have all the information, which he doesn't, because in his understanding, the only time that he could pass it on if he was in the middle of an outbreak. The truth of the matter is that you're always contagious when you have it. It's not like it disappears or goes away and then all of a sudden it comes back. No, the only difference is that you have symptoms. Understanding when you have the symptoms, your chances of being contagious actually double. Like you're more contagious, you're twice as contagious when you're symptomatic as to times when you don't have physical symptoms. But you can always give it to somebody. And you know how I found that out? I Googled it. Now, with all that being said, one of the things that Veronica also has to take into account, because truth be told, when he told her that, there's a lot of women who would have told him to, go ahead and turn this bad boy around. We need to turn this smoke show around, and I need to go back to the house because this is over. But she decided to go down with him. And she made what I think is kind of a thinking with the wrong head decision. If it was a guy, it'd be a little more clear. But this is not the time you want to make those decisions. Now, with all that being said, part of her calculation on whether she wants to continue this relationship with him or not is just simply this. Is he the guy that you're willing to make this kind of sacrifice for? With both Josh and with this gentleman that Veronica's dating. Actually, for both of them, it's only their third date. And are these the kind of guys that you want to make life-changing decisions for the rest of your life? Prospectively, you may have to go to guys and say, oh yeah, by the way, I like you a lot and this is my situation. Some guys will be, okay, that's cool, we can work around it. Other guys, nope, that's it. So you have to think about what it is you're willing to risk and who you're willing to risk it for. My name is James. This has been my take on reality, and I'm out.
Cause I've been living life right like I could just die.